From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, October 28th. Need the rain gear today. A wet Thursday in store all across the state. It'll be off and on throughout the day with some isolated storms possible. Even flooding could be a concern. Breezy winds, you probably already noticed that this morning, and highs will struggle to push into the mid-50s. Paid family leave is reportedly out of President Biden's economic and climate package. Biden was scheduled to take off for Europe this morning, but is pushing that back to attend the Democratic caucus. He wants to bring talks over the finish line. Biden initially included 12 weeks of paid family leave in his $1 trillion-plus plan. That was lowered to 4 weeks, and then last night it was dropped in hopes of gaining the support of Democratic holdout Senator Joe Manchin. It also appears that the billionaire tax is dead. The idea arose in recent days as a way to fund Biden's agenda, but it also lacks support from Manchin. Manchin's idea is a smaller, flat tax on a larger percentage of wealthy Americans. The president's infrastructure hopes may hinge on whether he can draw Democrats together. He's set to meet with lawmakers before leaving for Europe later today. Progressive leaders say they're not optimistic.
If there isn't a deal, which is what I'm still hearing, that we don't have agreement of Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema on a framework, even on a framework, much less on legislative text, then I'm not sure what the president is going to present to us.
The White House says the president will continue to work with lawmakers remotely during his trip if necessary. The CDC could authorize COVID vaccines for 5 to 11-year-olds as soon as next week. And Wish TV medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams is trying to change perspective for hesitant parents. Adams tweeted, "Instead of thinking almost no kids die from COVID, we as parents should be thinking, I can protect my kids from one of the top 10 threats to their lives. You protect your kids with seatbelts and car seats and sunscreen and bike helmets. Protect them with the vax also." It's a sentiment echoed by Dr. Anthony Fauci.
No doubt, from a statistical standpoint, when children get infected, there's very much more likely that they would not have a severe outcome compared to an elderly person like myself or someone who has an underlying condition. But that doesn't mean that the kids are exempt from some serious illness.
Once the CDC gives the green light, it'll go to the CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, for final approval. And if and when the CDC does give that go-ahead, Indiana says it's ready. The health department expects to send doses for children to Indianapolis Motor Speedway Monday or Tuesday for a mass vaccination clinic. Hoosiers can expect 200,000 COVID-19 vaccines intended for children. There's roughly 600,000 kids in the state, 5 to 11 years old. Dr. Lindsay Weaver, the state's chief medical officer, says that we should expect smaller shipments of the vaccine in the following weeks.
We are definitely ready. We are excited. Our kiddos have been affected by COVID with illnesses, missing school, missing sports and activities. And so I know there's lots of parents that are ready to get their kids signed up.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway is extending its COVID-19 vaccination and testing clinic until November 20th, all to accommodate the anticipation of the approval for children 5 to 11 to get the vaccine. A reminder, the clinic is being held in the parking lot on 16th Street across from Gate 2. A key clue in a deadly hit and run is recovered. IMPD tweeted last night that they found a green Saturn Vue believed to be involved. Police say it was the first of 2 vehicles to hit someone on Harding Street near Raymond around 11:30 Saturday night. The person died. The Post does not say anything about a suspect or that second vehicle involved, only that detectives are investigating. A fire burns 2 houses and a dog gets credit for keeping people safe. IFD says a space heater started the fire in a house at 32nd and MLK, and the flames jumped to the home next door. The 2 people who live at the first house say their dog alerted them and they got out okay. The people who live in the second house were not there at the time. Firefighters faced some big challenges. IFD says they had to deal with clutter and live ammunition that went off in the fire. IFD also says that the man who owns the home is a veteran who has no insurance and lost everything. Marion County prosecutor Ryan Mears wants a 13-year-old boy tried as an adult. The teen is accused of murdering a 69-year-old woman. The shooting happened early in the morning on Sunday, October 10th, at a home on Windsor Street near 10th and Massachusetts. We talked to former Marion County prosecutor Carl Brizzi about the case. Brizzi says a formal investigation into the teen's background is key.
For a court to decide, for a prosecutor to convince a jury that a child is basically unredeemable, that they can't be rehabilitated is kind of a big hurdle. If you get convicted, you're going to prison, which is an institution designed for adult predators.
The waiver was filed yesterday. The hearing for the prosecutor's request has not been set. There are new calls for a ceasefire in Indianapolis. A group called Unity Indy City is asking people to put their guns down for 72 hours this weekend. iTeammate found the group is planning a neighborhood cleanup, some family-friendly gatherings, and cookouts throughout the city. Organizers say they want to provide alternatives for people who may be prone to violence.
Ceasefire is something that's already stated and the person knows they need to do. But let's give them reasoning or opportunities or access so that they will not pull the trigger.
iTeammate reports there have been at least 32 homicides in the city this month. Investigators are releasing new information about the deadly shooting on the set of the movie Rust. Authorities in New Mexico say the gun in the shooting that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins was loaded with a live round rather than a blank. Investigators say that they've collected some 600 pieces of evidence, including 3 guns and 500 rounds of ammunition. But they say they're now working to figure out how a real bullet got into the gun before the assistant director handed it to actor-producer Alec Baldwin.
The facts are clear. A weapon was handed to Mr. Baldwin. The weapon is functional and fired a live round. People that inspected or handled the firearm when it was loaded before it got to Mr. Baldwin, we're interviewing. And there's some follow-up questions that we need to do.
Investigators say Baldwin is cooperating with their work. The district attorney has not said whether anyone will face criminal charges. Flooding closes a Hamilton County campground for the season. White River Campground posted the news on Facebook. Parks and Rec closed the campground earlier this week when the White River flooded Tuesday morning. And according to the Post, if you have a reservation already, you're asked to call the campground at 317-770-4430. The town of Brownsburg is gearing up for its annual food drive. Monday is when the annual Let's Give food drive begins. It'll run through the 24th. Items can be delivered to the food pantry at Messiah Lutheran Church. The food pantry has been opening there every Saturday from 10 to noon for the last 20 years, serving more than 2,000 families, primarily in Hendricks County. Messiah Lutheran donates money to the pantry so it can provide fresh produce, eggs, and meat. So people are encouraged to donate canned goods or non-perishable food items. The pantry is asking for things like cereal, oatmeal, peanut butter, rice, things like that. Last year, the Let's Give food drive collected about 8,700 items. The pantry hopes to collect 10,000 this year. You can drop off donations at the pantry or town hall during normal business hours.
November and December are definitely months where we see more activity here in the pantry. People need the food to help them celebrate the holidays, get through when they have more expense in their lives. Maybe they're buying gifts. Maybe they have more. Now we have heating bills and those kinds of things.
I think everyone realizes that there's a lot of people that are on hard times, not just because of the economy bouncing back, but I think it's just a tough time in general for a lot of families. And anything that we can do to help out, we're more than happy to do.
The town of Brownsburg is also coming together to renovate a local playground called Blast Off. It's a popular playground in Hendricks County. Volunteers are hoping to replace play features, posts, and hardware. The playground's only in phase 1. It's expected to be completed by the end of next summer. Some local business headlines now from Inside Indiana business host Gerry Dick. In partnership with the IBJ, Indiana tech companies secured nearly $160 million in publicly announced capital raises during the third quarter. Indianapolis-based TechPoint says it marks the first time the state has seen at least $100 million raised in each of the first 3 quarters of any year. Indiana's tech sector has already broken the previous record of $358 million raised in all of 2019. The third quarter numbers were led by Indianapolis-based Onboard's $100 million investment round led by JMI Equity in July. 2 additional companies, South Bend-based Simba Chain and Intolin Air, closed on funding rounds of more than $20 million. It looks like Governor Holcomb's recent economic development mission to Qatar may already be paying off. Officials from Qatar were in Indiana this week exploring business opportunities in the state. Indiana is the Midwest's fourth largest exporter of goods to Qatar, sending $43 million in goods there last year. And Gerry reports a lot has changed since Elkhart County topped the nation in unemployment, as Elkhart continues to ride a wave of economic momentum. The northern Indiana city, known as the RV capital of the world, is reaping the benefits of a big rebound in RV sales, a $23 million renovation of the historic Hotel Elkhart, and an ambitious revitalization effort underway in the River District. And finally here, a good excuse to get a sweet treat today. Dairy Queen is donating $1 to the Children's Miracle Network for every Blizzard you buy. In our area, that means Riley Hospital will benefit. DQ calls it the Miracle Treat Day. Dairy Queen hopes to raise $4.6 million. It says the money will help provide urgent and quality care to children. This has been your News 8 Daily. For Wish TV, I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.